congratulations first and foremost on the global phenomenal success of You. How does it feel to work on something as big as this now? You know, to be part of this incredible show.
I mean, it feels pretty awesome, but we just had such a great time shooting it. And for me personally, as soon as I read the script, I was like, okay, I don't care if I'm a part of this or not. I can't wait for this show to come out, because it just had all the elements of what makes a really good show. And then shooting it, we had so much fun. It went by so quick, and now that everybody's able to enjoy it, it's also really exciting to get to relive it again with fans and just friends and family who are all watching, so.
It's less fun for me, because I'm a murderer, let's just be clear, right? I mean, I know it's all fun to watch, but I don't want to give any spoilers, but I killed more than 3 people, right? So just, so we're all clear.
Exceeding expectations.
Yeah, I guess so.
And what was it like the first time that you read the script, you know, and you got to see the characters and you got to see the storyline? What was it like actually doing the show and watching it come alive on screen?
I don't know.
Okay, I remember reading some of the scenes between Penn's character Joe and Peach, and just imagining how I would play that. But honestly, being on set and getting to work with Penn, being my first time, was 10 times more fun. It was just, you know, it's funny. I'm literally having to kill him with my eyes, and you know, the funny little lines that he says, and then he literally does.
Well, I don't. We don't want to. Yeah, can we say it? I guess everybody here has seen it now. Is that like? Can we get a? No, you're like so. Not a fan.
She's like, not yet.
She's like, I prefer
but for the viewers who haven't, yeah.
Yeah. So we don't want to ruin it for people, but yeah.
It was a lot of fun.
It was. Well, again, like.
I was just speaking specifically to our scenes.
Yeah.
Like,
no. I loved working with Shay. I really did, and I love doing press with Shay. Because I feel we're quite different, but then we just really mix well. Like the ingredients of a halo.
Yeah. There we go.
You got it.
You know?
Yes. Mix.
Unity and diversity. When I read the script, I was quite troubled. You know, because again, like, I understood all of those elements about the show, but I was the person reading the, you know, I'm thinking, all right, I don't get to play Peach, I don't get to play Beck, I don't get to write the thing. I don't get to score the thing, I don't get to watch it, I have to be Joe, you know? Everyone else gets to watch it and enjoy it in this different way. So for me, when I read it, I was actually like, good luck, but I don't know. I don't know that I can do this for such a long period of time. You know, when you do a film, for instance, it's like 2 months, and then you don't do it again. This is, you know, it's like 6 months a year, you know, maybe we'll go on for season after season. Killing more people, and I guess that's getting less and less funny.
It's becoming real too, though. Like killing more
like,
people.
Oh yeah, right. So you know, I think I had a lot of reservations, which is appropriate because now we can all watch something and feel somewhat responsible. But I think that's the thing is like, to the degree that everybody else is able to consume it in this way, that it is enjoyable, it's like I kind of have to take on the burden of making it somewhat real for myself, and that's just not, you know what I mean? It's like it's just a bit different, but I can appreciate the fact that it is being consumed in the way that it is.
Yeah, and a lot of people, some of your tweets actually were trending recently because of how you
That's right, it's my first time going viral, Shay.
Welcome to Twitter.
Yeah.
Welcome to the club, right? You should welcome him to the social media club. With a lot of people responding to Joe's character, and you know, you were so vocal about not romanticizing the character. Obviously, we get to appreciate it on a certain level, but you know, you were saying earlier, there's a certain level of adore, and then there's creepy. So how did you respond to all those conflicting, I guess, comments from a lot of your viewers, and how did you get into the character?
Well, first of all, I think we, as the people who made the show, should take responsibility because he is a charming guy, and that was obviously what they wanted. And you know, it was always a bit of it was a push and pull between me and the directors, the writers, wanting me to be charming, right? And I was always like, less interested in, see, there are even things that I want to say, but I feel like they're inappropriate. But I guess if you're watching this show, it's not about spoilers, but it has to do with just like, normally things you wouldn't say in an interview that have to do with, you know, such intense topics. But Yeah, I think it was always a balance between making this guy real, and then also he's not a real person. I was not thinking of like a clinical portrayal of a real psychopath. I was thinking sometimes of that, and then other times he's meant to represent things that are inside all of us, you know, like the internet troll. Even Joe in some ways is a little bit like the internet troll made real, which is a serial killer. Actually, you know, so that's no, but I mean really, because like the kind of things that people say on the internet, how often do people talk about? They're like, "I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna murder." I mean, you know, even one of the tweets that I actually ended up following one of the women who I had a correspondence with, because she had said something and then I responded and then that one went viral, and then there were apparently people tweeting at her. There was like a guy who tweeted at her like, "Maybe we should send murderers to your house just so you know the difference." And I mean, come on, like that's, so the meta response to this show is quite deep. I mean, I think like if we're not careful, Joe can maybe bring out the Joe in us.
Yeah.
Or we, you know what I mean? So it's like, I think I'm the person who has to always be thinking about the delicate balance of these themes. Just because I'm that guy.
You're the guy, yeah.
know?
And it's important that you actually start conversations with people who follow the show and who find it so interesting, that specific character,
Yeah.
right? So it's good. And Shay, for you, you're a social media maven. How do you view this show in light of the work that you do on social media? I mean, you have your vlogs, you have everything, you share your life so much also. How do you see it from the perspective of someone who saw the storyline also, and somebody who lives that kind of life being a social media?
I mean, it's interesting because I've said this before, but there are so many people that can fall in love and become obsessed with somebody who they've never even met before. And that's the world that we live in now. You get to know all of this information that person is putting out there, you know, and making up who this person is in your mind to be this imaginary, you know, vision. And I think that I completely get it when people become fascinated with people, because you feel like you get to know them with what they put out there. And I think a lot of the time too, being on the flip side, I also have to question some things that I put out there, you know, and when I put it out, and just how much of it I want people to be aware of. So it's really a fine balance, and yeah, a very fine line.
Yeah, but I like also, you posted recently on your Instagram about how it's not the real world. What you're posting on your social media, it's not. But you share these things because you want to be able to inspire and encourage others, and show them what's happening with the world around you, where you're being taken to.
Yeah,
right?
I think as long as you can use it in a way to know that the images that you're seeing are people's highlight reels.
Mm-hmm.
It's not reality.
Yeah.
You know, it's the best of that best moment of that day, you know, that's been curated and perfected and filtered a million times. If you can go into it knowing that, then you can use it appropriately.
Yeah. And do you think that it's, you know, that plays a lot with why people love this show so much, right? Maybe because they can actually see the real world kind of going in, that social media makes you so close to someone in that way.
I mean, yeah, I feel like our previous shows kind of touched on using technology and social media a little bit, but when I read the script, I was like, wow, this show is really using what's available, these social media platforms. It's really using it and showing, you know, just how we all use it today. It touched on a lot.
Yeah, we all use social media like Joe, right?
I mean, not like that,
No,
but you know what I mean.
No, you're right. I mean, actually, I think what Joe is doing is in a way quite normal. That's the most disturbing part. He really isn't doing anything that's super high tech. He's just like, yeah, I'm actually doing this. I'm creeping on people, and so what's the difference between creeping on them in real life? I think in a way, Joe is like, I'm courageous. Everyone else is doing this behind closed doors on their phone, but I'll do it in real life because I'm brave. I'm a man. You know. So his logic is interesting. I think Joe reveals the unsettling logic that actually a lot of us are following, you know, in the worst way in social media. But then I think in the best way, it is a tool, and there's nothing inherently wrong about that tool at all. I think, in fact, I really admire people like Shay who have an authentic relationship with it, where it's like fluid. See, me, when I try to do something on social media, it's pathetic.
It's very cute. I wouldn't say pathetic. It was cute. You didn't know how to post a story.
But I think about it too much, and therefore when I do use it, it actually lacks that authenticity, that fluidity that I think a lot of like extra young people, we call them Gen Z, is that right now? Yeah, well, but we're millennials. We're all millennials. I'm talking about people who are like, you know, 15 to like 25 now, you know. I'm in my 30s, let's be clear. But you know, I actually really appreciate people who have this sort of totally like just second nature relationship to it. Because then I think you're able to. That's when you know you do have something meaningful and substantive to post. Then I think it really comes through and people appreciate it all the more.
Whole conversation.
Yeah, Cardi B is a great example of that. I think she has such an authentic relationship, you know, and I mean, it's like, and she's not. To me, it's like it's this incredibly nuanced place to be, and despite what many might judge as antics and all this, I mean, I feel like she has an incredibly authentic relationship to that, and that's why people like her so much.
And that's why it's so interesting to watch and follow, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk more about your characters, Peach and Joe. I fell in love with this series. I was just telling everyone that I finished the whole thing in a day and a half, and I have a morning show, and I ended up sleeping for like an hour just so I could finish this. It's fine. It's actually, I hope that's a good, oh no!
Yeah.
It's a good thing. But